What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop. MLB DFS conversation starts now. Happy Monday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Chop, hopefully you don't have too much of a case of the Mondays. I know your Rockets got knocked out last night. We had some awesome hockey. Winnipeg scoring with a second to go. We were talking about that one pre-show. We got my Panthers taking on Toronto tonight. New series starting in hockey, as well as OKC and Denver. The reigning MVP taking on the presumed future MVP, SGA versus the Joker, producer Steve's Knicks versus Boston. Lots of sports going on. Of course, we're talking baseball here. Got to get this out of the way. FanDuel and DK, both 8-game slates. However, FanDuel is including the first two games, 640, 645, Dodgers, Marlins, Cleveland, Washington. DK not including those. And I think for the first time I've seen all season long, FanDuel is cutting games off like it's basketball season all over again. They cut off the last two. DK is keeping them. Mets, D-backs, Seattle, Athletics. So FanDuel does start at 640, I believe. So a little bit dicey, a little bit tricky. Crunch time coming in around 610 or so. You got chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. We always need Kevin Roth, but we especially need Kevin Roth today. I'll go ahead and drop this in chat as far as the weather report. Did improve. I think it was straight orange earlier in the day, but it is dicey in New York. Yellow-orange and orange-yellow in Washington. The dicey weather games are both the two games that are on FanDuel. So keep an eye on that. As far as DK, we're not concerning ourselves those two games. So weather pretty clean otherwise, except not precipitation related, but wind is blowing in and it is cold in Chicago. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in chat for the people. What's up, Chop? Happy Monday. How are things? How we doing? Everything all right?
Yeah, it's Monday. It's just a bit of a hectic Monday around the house here, but we're here now. We're settled in. We got some baseball and some NBA playoffs. Some round twos are going to kick off tonight. I'm anxious to see how those things play out. So, all in all, should be a pretty fun night of sports.
Our guy Bobby Gomes in chats. What's up, chat? Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. Do all those things that help us keep the lights on. Hit all the buttons. We appreciate that. Bobby is saying, I think he's just kind of poking the bear here. Giannis going to San Antonio. How do you feel about that? I mean, obviously you want him to go to Houston. Who even knows if Giannis is leaving? If he wants to stay, he'll probably just stay, and maybe he does. I don't know why he would, but it makes a lot of sense for him to go to Houston as far as the pieces that are available. You may be done with Green. He certainly seems like one of the more likely candidates. You guys have players that are in the rotation that can be useful for other teams as well. But, San Antonio is certainly in the running. Imagine Giannis and Wemby. That would be absolutely insane. Bobby's saying it makes no sense for him to stay. Of course not. It doesn't make any sense for him to stay, but maybe he wants to. And Milwaukee probably would prefer that he want to stay, but, reality is that they do not control their pick in for like 5 years or so, something silly like that. Lillard, of course, done for next year as well, I presume. It's the team's over. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, they're cooked.
Yeah, they have no moves left. Kyle Kuzma, it's over for the Bucks.
But you never know. Yeah. He's a seemingly a pretty good guy, and maybe he wants to go ahead and he's cool. He won a championship. Maybe he's cool with just being on one team his whole career and that kind of a guy. And there's honor in that. I would say that. I think we all kind of expect him to hit the road, but maybe that's not his thing. But let me see. I saw something in chat here. Yeah, lots of good stuff. Giannis and Wemby would be like 1 week from today, though, Dean. 1 week from what is it? Today's 1 week from today.
5th, Monday.
1 week from today, that is the draft lottery. I think it's before that first playoff game, I want to say.
Yeah,
that's going to decide a lot. Who knows, Dean? What if 3 years? No, not the Spurs. Although you never know, but they got their luck with Wemby. Like that was, man. There's no way. Can't give them.
And David Robinson and Tim Duncan. Yeah.
Well, let's just talk about recent history. But like 3 years in a row, the Rockets got the shaft, man. On the number one pick, they got the shaft. And clearly all 3 years in a row, there was a definitive number one guy that was taken, and he ends up being the number one guy that you wanted in that draft, more or less. They owe us one, Dean. They owe us one. I know there's only like I don't even know what it is, 3% chance or something like that for Cooper Flag, but they owe us one.
Tell me
Come
there's
on,
a chance. Yeah.
freeze those ping pong balls however you want, Adam Silver, but get them to
They
Houston
froze the
Royals.
envelopes allegedly many years ago for Patrick Ewing, but yeah, that's the conspiracy and whatever. But they actually drew it in front of you. They did it in front of the people. This they do behind closed doors. I don't know if it's Ernst & Young or who's there, but yeah, you don't see it. You just see like the reveal at the end. I mean, I'm just bummed that my Heat didn't get a chance because they just had to fight their way to get in the playoffs and then set a record of being the worst team ever in the history of the playoffs as far as getting beat per game as far as the actual total points. So shout out to Miami giving up their pick. You know who got their pick? OKC, because they need more picks. They need more picks. Imagine OKC gets the one. How about that?
Oh, come on now. Juggalo Nation, rise up.
No. OKC gets their the Miami loses. They just get their pick that's like the 15th pick or something like that overall.
Yeah,
so they're not in the lottery, but still.
They don't. OKC can't even use those picks. They just got to throw them in a trade somewhere. They got too much. They got too many young players anyway. But Juggalo Nation, rise up. Kirkdiese is back from Mexico. He's in chat. He's hanging out.
We were talking smack about him before we went on vacation. So
it wasn't me, Dean. I got the receipts. It was all you. It was all you trying to drag his name.
You ratted me out, man. You're a rat.
And drag his name through the mud. We were just having a pleasant conversation and just happened to.
That's what I thought.
And no, not me. Me and Kirk, and then it just came up, and then
just immediately came up out of nowhere.
Yeah, just came up out of nowhere.
All right. Let's go ahead and drop the first clue for Movie Monday. You get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Just tell me what movie I'm talking about. 5 individual clues will drop throughout the show every 10-15 minutes or so, give or take. You put your answers in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. 1 guess per clue drop. No mass multi-entering there. The first clue, Chop, is fall. Fall is the first clue. Fall is the first clue for Movie Monday. This is a weird slate, Chop. It's rough. And there's distinctly different, of course, because, again, if you're playing on FanDuel, you may have Dodgers, Miami, Cleveland, Washington. I said both games are New York is on both slates, and that's the game that's potentially dicey. I was thinking of the Washington game; it's also dicey, so we may lose that game there. Chop, that's a good guess, but it is not Halloween. I see what you're doing there. That's a good guess, Chop, but it's not Halloween. Again, Miami, the Dodgers, big total over 5.5, tough ballpark, but they're locked in for 9 innings against this terrible bullpen. And Sandy Alcantara has just been terrible this year. There's really no way around that. He's not been good. Just all different ways. So however you look at it, it's hard to tell a positive story there with Sandy coming back from his injury. Again, Cleveland, Washington on the FanDuel slate. We may lose it. We'll see what Roth has to say. And then two of the better pitchers, Rodon and Pivetta, low total, but again, we may lose that one as well. We want to keep our eyes on that. Roth will give us some clarity when he jumps on in an hour. I think some of the better offenses today are in the DK slate. The Mets getting a ballpark bump in Arizona, 9.5 total combined. Bryce Miller taking on Severino, and positive ballpark out there in Sacramento. Seattle getting a massive ballpark bump. Severino vulnerable to lefty power, and Cal Raleigh, big dumper. I think he's leading the league now in homers at this point. I want to say he's leading the league at 12. His ISO against righties this year is over 400, which is a goofy, silly number. He looks like a spectacular play on the DK slate. And pitching wise, there's one clear-cut pitcher who's not been good this year, but everything points to it's going to be okay. He left his last start with a groin last time. He wasn't playing pretty well. I think that was 17 days ago. Reagans now comes back off the IL, and he gets the White Sox. And again, if you look at the surface numbers, 4.4 ERA, but he's been unlucky, right? Left on base, less than 67%. BABIP over 330. So his SIERA is 2.41. It's the lowest SIERA on the slate, saying that he's been very unlucky. 2.41 SIERA, a 4.4 ERA. The strikeouts are still there, 36% Ks. That is electric. 15.9% as far as the swinging strikes. Especially on FanDuel, where he's not the most expensive pitcher. FanDuel a little more reactive as far as how you've actually done, as far as your actual fantasy points. I think he's the most expensive pitcher in DK, but not too expensive. I'm curious for your overview, Chop, because I'm just assuming if he's pitching that he's fine. And if he's fine, I'm playing Reagans, and that's that, especially in this slate where if you say I'm not playing Reagans, okay, now you got to pitch 2 other pitchers on DK, and we're not even sure if 2 of the better ones are going to be available, and it's really, really murky. I'm just playing Cole Reagans. General assessment, overview, what do you got?
Yeah, that's the pitching is rather thin tonight when all things are factored in. I definitely, if I was playing on DraftKings, which I'm not, luckily I'm on FanDuel, so I can just lock in Reagans and it's pretty easy. But if I was playing on DraftKings, yeah, you'd have to. I mean, I think Reagans would be a guy that I would consider locking in anyway, depending on how many lineups I'm running. But and then after that, it is a crapshoot. But there's a couple options we'll shoot through here in a little bit, and I think they make sense. If you check out the weather and everything checks out with Roth. And then there's a pretty big drop off, and there's definitely some stackable pieces on the offensive side. I definitely like some stacks here, and we'll see how it plays out. We got our board today. I'm interested. I'm intrigued to get into it and see how we're going to do this slate. But I feel like it's pretty straightforward. Like there's the pitching. I like this guy. That's who I'm going to play. And then there's the hitting. And I think there's a couple of stacks that stand out to me. And that's kind of what I'm going to end up playing. And that's that. I'm just not going too outrageously like off the board tonight.
I don't think it's that straightforward. I think it's just sort of like pick an offense and like these 4 offenses, they're all kind of sort of somewhat the same. That's sort of where I'm at. I don't think there's a clear cut. This is the best offense, and like even if New York, San Diego plays, which it may, I don't really want to pick on Pivetta. Rodon, righty power, sure. Machado, Tatis looks pretty interesting. Merrill was potentially coming back today. He's not coming back today. Just a heads up. They're saying tomorrow Jackson Merrill will be back for San Diego. Royce Lewis also expected back tomorrow too. I know it says DFS. We care about today and today only, but just a heads up. Royce Lewis is coming back. By the way, I don't know. You know about the thumbnail gate, if you want to call it that. I don't know. The thumbnail thing as far as whenever Steve throws a thumbnail up there, there's a thumbnail curse. Do you know about this or no? You've heard about this, right?
No.
So today's thumbnail, allegedly somebody's keeping track, and a lot of the thumbnail players just kind of bust for whatever reason. Today's thumbnail, I don't know if he's playing chess here. Today's thumbnail just went in the IL. Jordan Alvarez, he's not going to get out at all. So that's today's thumbnail is Jordan Alvarez. But the one lefty guy for Houston, the one lefty power guy, he's been scuffling this year as well. He hit the IL. So yeah, what Steve says, this is all rumors and not true. People are saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it myself. I'm just hearing the secondhand. Take it for what it is. But Jordan Alvarez is today's thumbnail, and he hit the IL. And 9 righties for Houston. That's how that's going to be. And Tobias Myers, I'm not sure how good Tobias Myers is, but he's really cheap. And he's throwing against a bunch of righties. And if you look at the old plate IQ, he's been good against righties stretched back to last season. So I think he's a pretty interesting SP2. I don't know how deep he's going to go. I don't know how deep he has to go. But have you considered picking on your Astros today?
Are we getting into the pitching?
Yeah, unless you got anything else.
Is that the first question? Yeah, I mean, you got to consider picking on the Astros, sure. But some of the pieces in that lineup have, they've started to come around a little bit. I know there's no Jordan, but even without him over the weekend, they put up some decent runs, and Jake Myers had a career game, and you're just trying to catch some hot streaks here and there, and some of the guys are starting to heat up in the lineup. So you got to be careful with that. We don't know the extent of how far Tobias Myers is going to pitch tonight. So, but yeah, I think you can use him for 57. So there's some cheap options there. I can't do it. I'm not going to use Tobias, and I'm not going to use another guy that I think is pretty decent because I don't have to, because I'm pitching on doing a one pitcher site, but semi-cheap Shane Smith. I kind of like some Shane Smith tonight. Yeah, I know. Some of the numbers right now don't look great, but last show we talked about Kansas City being like dead last in Major League Baseball in runs scored. Outside of Bobby Witt, it's a terrible lineup.
Oh, that was Texas. It's not Texas?
Oh, yeah. No, Casey is right there with Texas. Like
Texas fired their hitting coach. They hired Brett Boone.
Man, that's
one
crazy.
Of the Boones.
You don't see that like that quick, that pull the trigger that quick. But props to them because sometimes it needs to be done. Then again, sometimes it's just a scapegoat, right? Like,
yeah, you got to do something.
What is he really doing? What does a hitting coach really do in baseball? I don't know, but KC has been a terrible offense this year, especially outside of Bobby Witt. So I think Shane Smith has some potential here. But yeah, Tobias Myers, cheap one. I would prefer to spend a little bit more on a cheapie and go Shane Smith, but I could see that. I could see somebody wanting to do that to get off the board and like be off the board in the large field GPPs. But if I'm playing the single entry, the 3-entry max, and smaller fields, I kind of don't need to go crazy like that. I feel pretty good about the top guys.
Our guy Kirkwood, I know he was in Mexico for a wedding this past weekend, giving us the bullet points in the chat. So feel free to read those. I did a quick search. It turns out Colorado, I guess we're adding in the weekend and all that. Colorado has scored the fewest amount of runs. No surprise there. 106. I know there's differences as far as games. They played one less game in Texas. Texas 113. Pittsburgh 114. The Angels 117. The Royals 120. So those are your bottom 5 teams. As far as runs scored, the Cubs have scored almost twice as many as the Rockies, 208 runs to Colorado's 106. Cubs a tough spot today. We'll talk about their offense soon enough. Again, the weather, if you look at Roth's Weather Edge, I can give it a refresh if things change. Last we saw 96 games as far as the similar weather, 34% loss in homers, 5.6% loss in runs. 51 is the temp, 44 is the dew. Winds blowing in from left field at about 8 miles per hour. Just wanted to take a peek at Smith and see his stuff this year as far as the numbers you're talking about. Yeah, he's one of those guys that I thought this was the case. I was looking at him earlier. That's been pretty lucky, right? They go 4.32 Sierra, 2.23 ERA. The K's okay, I guess around 20%. Swing and strike rate okay. It's also the Royals. Like you said, I think they kind of stink, and we keep seeing them pop up. Guys like India, it's like, chalky India. It seems like a terrible play. He's never anybody I'm afraid of fading in tournaments. What other thing that we have as far as Smith? Yeah, homer to fly ball. That's what it was. He's got a 3% homer to fly ball, which, I mean, come on. That has to correct at some points. Sandy Alcantara, by the way, 19% homer to fly ball. But 14% walks, like a lot of ground balls, but the K's are just gone. 15.8%, although the swing and strikeout rate, 10.6%, suggests it should be higher. But, and you get a lot of this kind of stuff early season, small sample. 50% left on base also for Sandy. So, again, he can't be this terrible. He's not an 8.31 ERA pitcher. He's been bad, but better days theoretically are ahead. You said you're playing single entry stuff, Chop. Is that you're mostly focusing on FanDuel, or you're playing both sites, or what? I'm playing DK. I didn't want to mess with the different time change, doing the show and all that. So I'm just focusing on DK today. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm playing on FanDuel, but don't ask me again, about the difference in slates because I'm just for the show dug into DraftKings slate, but I'm playing on FanDuel. Yeah, not DraftKings tonight.
And your favorite pitcher on FanDuel, like you said, nothing's changing here. It's Cole Reagans.
Yeah. I mean, I can play one pitcher. That's all I need. I don't see a way around. I don't see myself like the only other guy that makes me think, okay, maybe I'll do it is Matt Boyd. That's the only one.
Yeah.
I mean, that weather out there for that game looks fantastic for the pitchers.
7.5 total.
Yep, he's a okay strikeout guy. Should suppress the runs tonight. Should keep the ball in the ballpark. So yeah, he's the one guy that challenges Cole Reagans for me, but I still see myself playing Cole Reagans on single pitcher side.
The chats give me the business because apparently you said, yeah, I thought I heard you say that, and I just wanted to confirm and make sure that that's where you were playing. I just want to clarify. They're saying I don't listen. I listen. I was listening. Just a little multitasking.
It's been a thing with you in the past.
Well, you know what it was is I'm reading in chat, and Eric is like multiple times, stop me for he hates the best pitcher in Cole Reagans. So There you go. I guess he'll be stacking against Reagan's today with the White Sox. I don't know if he's going to do that or not. But, yeah, he's besmirching Cole Reagan.
Well, here's the one thing I will say about the White. That's just, I'll save it for the stack stuff.
Chad is telling me that Justin Tucker was released. Oh, that's the kicker for Baltimore, right? It took him long enough.
One too many of those happy endings, man. You got to get rid of that guy.
I thought it was Turner. I was thinking Justin Turner at first when I read that, because he should get, well, maybe he's going to get released as well. I'm not sure. But he's been pretty horrendous as well. But, yeah, that you're going to get that in small sample stuff. Who else? Somebody else was released. Now I'm forgetting who it was. But we got Julien was sent down to the minor leagues. Again, I don't know why I'm speaking in Minnesota. Minnesota not the slate, but put that in your back pocket there. Again, they're getting Lewis coming back tomorrow. No Seattle, no Athletics, no Mets lineup just yet. I don't think we have a Brewers lineup either. No. And again, we talked about Jordan jumping on the IL. Nothing really else especially funky when it comes to the lineups. We mentioned Merrill's supposed to come back for San Diego. That's not today. It's happening tomorrow now. That was pushed back for whatever reason. Everything else looks pretty standard as far as lineups, unless I missed something. Do you want to give let's go ahead and drop the second clue, by the way. I don't think we have a winner just yet. Nobody got the old hole-in-one for today's Movie Monday. You didn't. You had a valiant effort, though, Chop. I did like your guess. Let's give the people another clue, and then maybe they can get themselves a week free of RG Premium. The second clue today for the old Movie Monday, it is pass. Fall and pass. That is our first two clues. 3 more are on layaway if necessary. Get in that Discord channel and tell me what movie I'm talking about, and we can give you a week free. And just so you know, it's not just baseball. It's football, baseball, basketball, hockey, MMA, PGA, everything with the exception of NASCAR. And if you're looking to get yourself the baseball package for the entire season, it is the same exact price for all the other sports. You can get the baseball a la carte, or you can go ahead and get yourself Combo Pro, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, MMA, PGA. If you commit to 6 months, as opposed to going month by month, you get yourself a nice sweet discount. And it also includes all the bells, all the whistles, everything you see on the screen that producer Steve is showing off, the optimizer, the plate IQ, the lineup HQ, Dave's article, Cheeseisgood's article. That's the same person. Chop's content, my content, Kirkwood's content, the rankings, all the goods. Get yourself some premium. There's a link in the description for such things. If you're playing props and pick them, if you like the underdog stuff, the prize pick stuff, or just player props in your sports book, we're knocking 50% off our price for your first month when you sign up with the link in the description. That's for props and pick them as well. Chop, are you still dabbling in the prop streets these days? Any baseball stuff? Any basketball stuff? You have anything tonight for the people?
Tonight, I'd like to dabble in the player props. It's a lot easier sometimes. Tonight, what I really did tonight was focus on, so far, just NBA and fantasy points from the different sites. And I kind of wrote it up in the survey. I just think this is going to be a monster series for Jokic. So I'm going over his fantasy points props. I think SGA fantasy points props are a little bit too low. We're going to need Denver to keep this stuff competitive and to get the full minutes out of SGA. But I think that's one. Looking at the season numbers with Boston versus New York, I do like to go by that just a little bit in the postseason. And Tatum has just destroyed the Knicks this year, so jump on some of those. And I also see a scenario where if Drew Holiday's healthy, Derek White's healthy, we get a whole lot less of Jalen Brunson. So let's go less on Jalen Brunson stuff. Yeah, there's some good props tonight. But that's what I'm focused on. Mainly, I like to start off by seeing what the fantasy numbers are out there and go from there.
Were you distracted by Justin's comment? Justin's really quick to change his name there in the chat. But I saw pretty talking about why we need more likes on the show. And then subscribe just so you know we go live as well. About 40.
Honestly, I don't want to I hate to be this guy, but I was the one who originated Justin Tugger as a nickname.
Well, that's all right. You want that on your epitaph?
Not to toot my own horn or anything, but that's my work of art. Right
You're
there.
proud of that work.
Now they're stealing it and putting it in a avatar, man.
Yeah. It took them a long time. It took them a long time to figure out that there was a lot of like you said, a lot of allegations out there. Do your own Google search on that. All right. Anything else as far as pitchers that we should talk about before we move on?
Well, yeah.
What do you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not playing Carlos Rodon, but I could see, maybe trying to chase some strikeouts there with the last night of a depleted San Diego lineup. Once they get their best hitter back tomorrow, best hitter. He's good, man. That kid's good, but you don't want to be playing. You don't want to play a pitcher against San Diego when they're at full strength, and so they're still not at full strength. But the one guy I think we didn't talk about, and I mean, there's other guys. I mean, Blanco could be okay tonight. He does what he does. You never know about Bryce Miller. I don't like him. We'll talk about him during the stack session. But Landon Roop. I mean, we talked about
you want to pick on the Cubs?
I don't. I think they're very good, but like that's some severely good pitching weather. Like that neutralizes a lot of stuff right there. So I just think sometimes you can play that stuff and it works out. He's not bad. He's got to control his walks, but he doesn't get hit hard. He doesn't give up He doesn't give up hard contact or home runs anyway. So in this kind of weather, I mean, knock on wood, he could really go out there and pitch 5 or 6 shutout innings and you're just hoping to stumble into a few Ks to be different.
You mentioned Blanco. He's due for some more strikeouts as well. If you think like the swinging strike rate is a barometer, right? It's at 14.7%. He's only got 21.7% Ks in the season. So you think he's going to get a few more that he's owed. 11.7% as far as the walks is dicey. And that's kind of, you mentioned Miller. The worst is those pitchers just like, walk the world. They just work up their pitch count and they barely can pitch 3 or 4 innings. 14.7% walks. That's just kind of unacceptable. Again, these are kind of small samples as well. He's been super lucky as well when it comes to homer to fly ball, and in part because his ballpark protects him. He's a fly ball pitcher, but he's in Seattle, so most of those balls just kind of die on the warning track unless you're, big dumper Kyle Rowley, just banging him out. Doesn't matter where you're hitting, but of course he doesn't have to face him because that is his teammate. Now he's in Sacramento, which so far looks to be very much of a hitter's ballpark. So some of those balls could be going over the fence now, and he's due for some homers to go the other, balls go over the fence as opposed to them dying in the warning track. So you kind of alluded to it. I don't know if you agree, but Athletics are one of my favorite teams on the board. Of course, they're not on, we've heard you say it a couple times, you're playing on FanDuel, but on DraftKings, you can only play the Athletics, and I like them a good bit. One peek as far as ownership, just kind of give the people a peek at that. And I know that people like the umpire stuff as well. Extreme hitters umpire expected in New York for Rodon and Pivetta. As far as ownership stuff on DK, like we mentioned how much we like Reagan's, 49%, and it might even be higher than that. Wouldn't surprise me, especially if like weather gets dicey with Rodon, New York and San Diego. Boyd coming in at 27%, Rodon at 20, Blanco at 20, Myers at 18. We have 80 pitches for him. I just don't know. He had a bullpen the other day. I guess that was an off day, but like an inning, 2 innings. The longest he's gone all this year is 4 innings, throwing 82 pitches at San Fran. Walks have been a bugaboo for sure. It's small sample stuff, but if you look, he's been really good against righties. If you stretch it back to last season, and he's facing 9 of them, and they're not that good. They're not great as a collective. And we mentioned Jordan being out of that lineup, and he's also really cheap. So I think I'm going to have some Myers as an SP2 on DK. I don't know if I'd play him on FanDuel just because, you really can't miss too badly on FanDuel with your one pitcher unless you really, really make up for it with your bats. Anything else we should mention, or shall we hit the board, do some tiers, and we got crunch time coming in about 40 minutes or so.
I think we could do some stacks and hit the board. Should give a shout out to Butthole Jenkins in chat. What's up, Butthole? Always joining, a friend of the program. So got that one. Yeah, we're rocking today. Everybody's in chat today.
All right. Do you want a third clue, Chop? Nobody's got it just yet. I'm in the live stream chat right now.
Yeah, okay, give me a third clue. I get 2 guesses because I'm behind.
It's not any given Sunday that Big Z is guessing. Philly Lakers guessing Frida. I think Frida's an angle of thinking I'm doing something like Cinco de Mayo. It's not The Blind Side or The Sixth Man or Happy Gilmore or Brokeback Mountain or Radio or We Are Marshall. But the third clue for Movie Monday is it's Wild. Wild is the third clue. Fall, Hass, Wild. 2 more coming. It is not Half Baked. Gregorius the Wise is guessing, or Dead Poet Society. Some guesses coming in. Secretariat is also. You know how I make these sometimes. Secretariat wasn't a movie though, right? That was just just an amazing horse. Do you know? I'm sure you saw this by now, Choppa. The Kentucky Derby was this weekend. Every single horse that raced in the Kentucky Derby was a descendant in some capacity of Secretariat. Every single one of them. Secretariat got around.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever that just doesn't really do it for me. Horse racing, or even like when they have the Kentucky Derbies or anything like that, or any other Triple Crown. I'll watch it just to see, for that 90 seconds or whatever it is. But I definitely usually don't bet on it. But this past weekend, my buddy got this hot tip from his barber. He's like, "Oh, you got to bet on this horse. These are the 3 horses. These are the
barbers always know.
Yeah, these are the 3 horses. Like I think they were probably all 3 dead. They're like last, second to last, and third to last. Just terrible tips, man."
By the way, there was a Secretariat movie starring Diane Lane and John Malkovich, and I was not aware of Kevin Connolly from Entourage. I didn't see it, but it did happen. So 2010. Yeah, I wasn't aware, but that's not the answer officially. I was going to do something horse racing themed today for today's tiers, so we'll put that in the back burner because today we're doing we'll talk about that momentarily. Let's see. Nobody's gotten it just yet, so good. We're gonna be playing that out. It's not Let It Ride either. It's another good play off the horse racing thing. One of my favorite horse racing movies of all time. Probably my favorite horse racing movie of all time. Enjoyed that a lot when I was a child. It's about gambling at the racetrack. So who would have guessed that I would like that? Anyways, Chop, we done with pitchers? Bats?
Yeah,
Tiers?
we're done with pitchers. Tier time.
Okay. Before we, by the way, Terang not in the Milwaukee lineup. Just got the Brewers. No Terang. It's Churio, Collins, Contreras, Yelich, Hoskins, Bowers, Durbin, Capra, and Ortiz. So cross Terang out. You want to tell the people about today's tiers? It is not the Revenant, by the way, Chop. Not the Revenant.
Yeah. So it's a holiday here in some parts of the world. It's Cinco de Mayo. So we decided to go with a Mexican themed tier board today, and we had the idea of ranking some Mexican foods. Now, this is a dual list here. Me and Dean kind of went at this together. So, there's a little bit of discrepancy, but, for the most part, I think we did this thing and, agree to disagree on some things, but we're good. So I guess we could bring up the tier board. Mexican foods on Cinco de Mayo. What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? Taco Bell. Justin Tugger likes him some Taco Bell. I haven't had a good Taco Bell meal in quite a number of years. I stopped.
Have you had one? Have you had one that failed? Or are you saying you've not visited?
I have not visited in years, but
yeah,
I used to.
You're also in Texas, which is like, come on, you're.
No,
I assume that the Tex-Mex is pretty strong.
When you're in college, it doesn't matter. Sure. When you're in college, you're going for that kind of food, those midnight runs, and ate plenty of Taco Bell back in the day. Loved it. Ate too much of it, in fact, but yeah, definitely not as an adult. But that's okay. To each his own. But
you're not judging.
No, I mean it seems fine. If the thing is I'm going to ingest food and calories. I want it to be really good, and I don't mind that stuff, but there's too many other good options ahead of it. I just don't get around to no Taco Bell anymore. But what else y'all got here, guys? I don't know. The chat's kind of all on Taco Bell right now. They don't know about the good Mexican food.
Kirkwood's got a question for you. He thinks you bring your own cutlery when you go out to eat. Is that an accurate allegation?
I do not, but I just told him. I just, in passing one day, I just mentioned, be careful in the restaurants because I've worked there for quite a few years, and I know.
Me and you both. Me and you both.
And I know how those guys, speaking of Cinco de Mayo, back of the house, and you get into that kitchen area, the dishwashing area, there's quite a bit of Cinco de Mayo guys back there, if you catch my drift. But I know how they work it. I know how they work the silverware back there. I know how they're cleaning that stuff. And sometimes I'm real hesitant to go out to eat a lot anymore because I know how some of it gets worked back there. So just saying that.
Let's reveal the board, Chop. Let's show the people what we came up with for today's tiers. Feel free if you're tell us we're wrong, tell us what we missed. They're still talking about movies and things of that sort, so feels like chat's a little bit behind. But we asked them what their favorite Mexican dish would be. Chop, go ahead and explain the board.
So up top, you really like some burritos. You said you're a big burrito guy. I don't hate that. I honestly, up until about 2 weeks ago, I don't think I had a burrito in quite a while. But, one of my kids wanted a Chipotle night, but not actual Chipotle, just make it here at home. So we did it all. And I made a burrito, and I was like, I forgot how good a burrito is. So, yeah, we'll put burritos up top. I don't hate that. Don't hate that at all. Tacos, I was trying to clarify, are we talking about soft tacos, hard shell tacos? We both like tacos. I like them both too. I think we're just going general tacos here at number 2. Just can't really go wrong with a good taco. Guacamole is where I put it in the middle because we had some discrepancy. I love some guacamole. You don't like the guacamole, so I think it kind of balances out, and we'll meet in the middle with it. I actually like guac, man. I think it's a great dipping for a good chip. It's a good dip, but you don't like it, right?
Yeah, it's I'm out. I'll take chips and salsa if you want to dip something like that. That didn't make our board. I have a confession. Maybe I'm not very cultured. I was not aware of. I thought Menudo was just the name of the boy band. That Ricky Martin I think was in. But apparently that's a food. I've never had Menudo before, but you acknowledge that. You brought that one up. I see they're talking about mole. Is it mole sauce? Isn't like just a sauce? Mole sauce?
The mole, yeah, that's a sauce.
Why does Kirkwood want a sauce on the board? That's what we should prioritize, a sauce. No chalupas or chimichangas. Again, we always give the normal qualifiers. The board is only so deep, right? You can't rank everything. That's just how that goes. Now we have soft tacos or hard tacos. Today's poll question. We both, I think we both agree. Like, I don't really have a strong lean. They're both fine. They're both good. Yeah. I'm not going to fight over whatever's left.
Yeah, no doubt. Can't go wrong. But the Menudo is going down there in 4 because although I don't mind it, I'm not actively seeking it out. Although there is some people who say a good bowl of Menudo the day after heavy drinking will cure your hangover. I've yet to really experience that. But but a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people here on this side of the border, they're disgusted by it. And I get it too. It's, I understand it, but I don't mind.
I was reading about it. I don't want to gross anybody out what it is, but yeah, I was reading about it.
If it's made the right way, it's got to be made the right way, and it can be a good meal. But I'll put it down there because a lot of people don't like it. And then our 5th one, if you're gonna go to a resort area in Mexico or a chicken or a taco truck here in America, you're fine. But going to the real street places in Mexico where it's not a tourist destination and grabbing a street taco from a vendor, you're risking it, buddy. You're taking a chance with yourself right there. I've had friends come back from Mexico from that and severe agony for days, if not weeks.
I feel like it's a GPP play though, because I feel like there's a lot of upside too. I feel like there's probably a lot of upside.
Does the upside really outweigh the possible downside?
Well, it's like stacking the White Sox. You're probably going to lose.
I would disagree with that because
every once in a while, the White Sox.
In DFS, your upside downside is one night. The next night, it all starts over and it's wiped out fresh. For a really good taco and ingesting that taco, the upside might be a couple of minutes there. You're eating that taco and it's good. The downside is a week's worth of absolute agony, man.
A
Possible
week?
hospital a week. Oh yeah, I was
Oh, boy.
I had a buddy come back from Mexico one time. Man, he was about a week, and he had to go to the hospital eventually. Like it was just body couldn't get over it. It was bad. So yeah, I think there's too much risk there. But
Is it because
again,
there's no tolerance built up or whatever? Is that what it is? It's kind of like a shock.
the water is a tolerance thing, but
Yeah.
the food could be in some areas really poor food handling techniques. And yeah, maybe it's other people can in that region can handle it because they've been used to it their whole lives. But as an outsider, you can't. So yeah, you gotta be careful out there, guys.
Chop, let's knock out the first. We're gonna do the FanDuel games as well. We're gonna do the DK special games as well. So we do have there's I guess 12 games, right? So I guess there's
We're doing FanDuel.
You don't want to include FanDuel? You're
Hell
playing
no.
on FanDuel.
Yeah, but most people play on DraftKings.
You don't think we should include them?
I mean, we can. I'll wing it, but I'm not. I didn't put it in my list.
Okay. Let's wing it. I think you can wing it. I feel like you can. I trust you can. Jack Dreyer and Cass is expected to be the opener for the Dodgers. Kasparius, who's actually looked pretty good. I thought it'd be interesting, but on FanDuel, obviously he's got no shot at the quality start. He's not going to be starting. He's super cheap, and you can get all the bats you want if that's something you want to pay up for. Against Sandy Alcantara, the Dodgers over 5.5 total, locked in for 9. Sandy's been terrible. That bullpen's been worse. Where do you have the Dodgers and the Marlins? I know you're winging this one here, but you're playing on FanDuel, and you're aware. You've heard of the Marlins. You've heard of the Dodgers. You know who's good here.
The Dodgers are a really good offense. Alcantara has really has he just not returned to form since the Tommy John? Is that it? Like, I don't remember him coming back and being particularly dominant. So maybe it just hasn't gotten back to form yet, and time will do it, but it's not there yet. So the Dodgers, Dodgers got to go in at least the tacos category here. Just they got a massive team total too, so I'll put them up there. Miami just not a good offense. There's pieces there that I don't particularly like. So I still don't think an opener is a particularly appealing situation for a stack when you have a pretty decent bullpen behind it. So Miami's going to go in. Yeah, let's put them in Menudo tier 4.
We can shout out Stowers though. Yesterday, who had a walk-off grand slam, so that was a cool moment against one of the best closers in baseball for the Athletics. Why am I forgetting his name? Starts with an M. But Stowers, who was a key part of that deal with Baltimore, as well as Norby. They traded away the pitcher who's not throwing baseballs for Baltimore because I believe he's hurt. I'm losing his name for some reason in my head. But we used him. We picked on him as well when he was in the Marlins not too long ago. Cleveland, Washington. Speaking of grand slams, we saw Daniel Schneemann. Schneemann hit a grand slam yesterday versus Toronto in the 9th inning, erasing, I think, a 3-run deficit. Jake Irvin, Luis Ortiz. Again, Roth is telling us this one could be dicey. I'll get the refresh, see if anything's changed. Looks like something has changed. He has updated it. It's officially yellow-orange. So both Washington at home versus Cleveland, the Yankees at home versus San Diego are both officially yellow-orange. Where do we have the Guardians and the Nats?
Guardians against Jake Irving. Man, I'm going to put them in guacamole, tier 3. And then Luis Ortiz, Washington. They've got some good young talent. They're decent, but I can't go any further than tier 3. So those are just 2 medium average teams for me.
Yeah, Wood and Abrams, both pretty good prices on FanDuel. Abrams 3.1, Wood 3.4. His power is pretty immense as well. And I believe in Cruz, Dylan Cruz. He's shown he's kind of breaking out more so of late, scuffled out the box this season, but ton of talent there. He's kind of buried in the lineup in the 7-hole. San Diego, Yankees 7.5 total. Rodon taking on Pavetta. Jazz probably going to be out for, they're saying, 4 to 6 weeks at least. It's kind of a bummer for Jazz, which is why the Yankees lineup does look a little bit thinner than it typically does. Grisham still leading off, Judge, Rice, Goldie, Bellinger, Volpe, Wells, Peraza, Vivas still a cheap second baseman, which second base does stink. It does stink. And San Diego again, no Merrill. He's expected back tomorrow. Where do we have the Padres and the Yankees?
Let's see. Looking in chat, Bobby's asking me if I live near Starbase. Not particularly. Probably about an hour down the road.
He's trying to dox you.
Maybe an hour and a half. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what he's got up his sleeve there, but yeah. Let me see. San Diego against Rodon. I'm gonna put in tier 4. There's probably home runs there. I just don't like that the lineup isn't 100% right now. So I'm gonna put San Diego in tier 4. And New York Yankees against Pivetta. He's a pretty good pitcher, but the Yankees also have some power. I'm going to put them in tier 3. Guacamole. They're just, I'm not going to stack them, but I could definitely see that stack somehow going off with some home runs at certain points. So yeah, they're in tier 3.
Chat helped me out. Appreciate it, MC. Norby and Stowers were traded for Trevor Rogers. And he's in the minor leagues. I thought he was like, how bad is Trevor Rogers that he's not getting called up? Because that Baltimore pitching rotation is horrendous. He's not available to pitch. Has he been just getting lit up in the minors? I don't know.
That was one of the worst trades, man. Like, you gave up something there that has some potential, and then for Trevor Rogers, who couldn't even make your postseason roster. I don't think it was. So that's just awful.
They called up Mayo, by the way, Baltimore. Speaking of, Mayo is on layaway for Baltimore. I'm not sure they sent down. Maybe somebody got hurt. I don't recall, but he should be playing tomorrow. We shall see. And yes, thank you, producer Steve. Mason Miller. I don't know why, for some reason, I had a brain fart. Could not think of Mason Miller on the fly. Let's knock out the Reds and the Braves. 8.5. Smith Shawver taking on Brady Singer. 8.5 is the total. Both these lineups, I believe, are essentially as expected. Tyler Callahan is drawing the 9 spot here for Cincinnati. So that may be a little bit of a surprise. But, Atlanta at home versus the Reds. 70 as far as the temp. Wind blowing out a little bit towards left field. I don't think I was looking at Weather Edge, and it's like the sample is so small, right? Yeah, 6 games. What are we going to do with that? That's not helpful. Relatively new ballpark, which explains that. But where do you have the Reds and the Braves?
The Cincinnati Reds are going to be in tier 3 for me. They're okay. They can hit you with some stolen bases. I don't see a massive home run thing here for them tonight. This weather reduces home runs by over 65%. So you're going to be hard pressed to get it out of the yard tonight, right, Dean?
Wait a second. It's a 6-game sample, Chop.
I'm being facetious, bro. Come on now. Yeah, but Atlanta's going in tier 2 for me. I don't mind the matchup with Brady Singer. I think his numbers are all right. They're not terrible, but I don't know. I kind of think he's a bit overrated. The lineup's kind of starting to come around a little bit. I'm going to put Atlanta in tier 2.
We got the Athletics, by the way. Urshela not in. Andahar in for Urshela. Otherwise, the lineup is as expected. Let me give a refresh here. Let's see. Yeah, Butler, Rooker, Soderstrom, Andahar, Langoliers, Blade, Wilson, Kurtz, who's been struggling, and Urias. So still no Seattle, no Mets. We got everything else. I see Michael in chat saying the Yankees might not finish. Well, not yet. It might not start. We'll see. We've been talking about that one.
You know who will finish, Dean? Justin Tugger.
I knew that was coming. Jesus. Yeah. All right. I didn't ask, but you answered your own question. Oh, Justin Tucker. Okay. Let's drop a fourth clue. Let's get a fourth clue for the people, Chop, because we've yet to get a winner for today's Movie Monday. It is not Legally Blonde or Dirty Dancing or Biodome. Maybe we should have Roth watch Biodome. We'll talk about that when Roth comes on. Terrible movie. The fourth clue is bar. So our 4 clues as of right now is fall, pass, wild, and bar. Tell me what movie we are talking about on a Movie Monday. It's not Ben and like Beckham or anything Star Wars related. And I see people working the Star Wars angle. Of course, the 4th was yesterday, the unofficial Star Wars holiday. It's not Blazing Saddles or Varsity Blues, but guesses are coming in on the Discord. Tell me what movie we're talking about and get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Moving on, it's the Giants in Chicago. Oh, the total went down to 7, Chop. It was at 7.5. Now it's down to 7. Have we seen a Cubs? I mean, the best offense in baseball so far this season. That's what the weather will do there. And Wrigley, they only have a 4-team total against Landon Roop. Well, I'm not sure if he's good. Matthew Boyd taking on this Giants team, looking like one of the more popular pitchers. Let's get a refresh on Weather Edge. I want to see if anything changed. It looks a bit worse for hitters, but as it looked earlier, let's confirm. Let's see. Yeah, the same. It's still bad. 34% dip in homers. We have seen the Cubs overcome this year, for the record. It doesn't mean you can't play the Cubs. But I understand why this is getting pushed down. Where do you have the Giants and Chicago?
Yeah, let me take a quick guess in the chat. But I know that's not right. But, whatever.
It is not A Star is Born.
Okay.
Good movie, though. I like it.
San Fran and Chicago is where we're at right now. San Fran, with this weather and a pretty decent pitcher on the mound, is going to go in tier 5 for me, all the way down at the bottom. Don't want any piece of that. The only thing that's buoying up Chicago here is that they are a really good offense here. So I hesitate to put them too low. I'm going to put them in tier 3 just because they are that good. I could see a tier 4 though, but I'm going to put them in tier 3 just because they are, man, they're just really good. I know Kyle Tucker's going to get a lot of credit here for this offense, and
PCA.
Like he's been so good this year, Dean, in all facets in that offense. And did you know? I just found this out this weekend. Pete Crow Armstrong, his parents are the legendary Sheryl Crow and Lance Armstrong.
That's actually incorrect. I don't know. Somebody misinformed you. That's not his mother. You know this. I know you're just having fun. But his mother was the mom from Little Big League. I'm sure you know that. But it's not. It's actually not Sheryl Crow or Lance Armstrong.
I thought those two were dating and they had a baby.
They were. I think they might have been married, actually. They may have had a child, but the child's name is not PCA or any sort of spin on that, far as I know. By the way, I don't want to poo-poo it. I like PCA as much as the next guy. But the advanced, this plate discipline's really bad. Just still throwing that out there. I'm not trying to say I don't know if he can continue this. I'm a fan as well, but he still has some bad plate discipline. I would just throw that out there. But I'm a fan. I want the stock as well. I'm trying to get him in my dynasty league. It's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. Chop Fact, by the way, number 1. I think that's number 1 as far as the Chop Fact. You like chop backs, you're gonna love the knockers. The knockers are coming up soon enough. Choppers, knockers. We got the BEP suggestion of the day as well. About 15 minutes or so, we got chief meteorologist Kevin Roth going to give us some clarity as far as what's going on weather-wise in a couple particular ballparks tonight, where it's kind of dicey. Dicey in New York, dicey in Washington. Oh, he hates Washington. Washington always does goofy things. By the way, our poll today that producer Steve dropped: soft tacos or hard tacos. Soft currently at the lead at 55%, 33% hard. And it says both kind of shells on one taco, 12%. I feel like that was a Taco Bell creation. That's not something they actually do, right? Is that an official? I feel like that's an Americanized version. Let's just have both. Are you aware of this concept, Chop, where you add the soft and the hard taco together?
I've never had one, but yeah, I've seen the commercials.
Yeah. I feel like that's not something that's official. I can't speak to it, but
no. What do you mean? What do you mean by not official?
I don't think that's like a standard option in Mexico, but I could be wrong.
What? In Mexico? I thought we were talking about Taco Bell.
No. This is just soft tacos or hard tacos.
Yeah, I'm
it's just Not this isn't specific to Taco Bell. I think that's a Taco Bell creation in the Taco Bell kitchen, which is. You got 8 items, and how many different combinations of 8 things can you make, right?
Yeah,
all different things.
The one thing about Taco Bell, I give them. I have.
It's the Baja Blast.
No, I've searched, and I've never found one. But they got the guacamole and the sour cream gun back there. Taco Bell. I've always wanted one of those official Taco Bell guacamole guns.
Chop, you've won $1 million twice in DFS. You couldn't treat yourself. You couldn't get one of those.
Find them. Where am I going to find that? I've searched the
internet.
I don't know. I've searched the internet high and low. for a Taco Bell guacamole and sour cream gun. Can't find it.
I love that that's in your search history. What would you be willing to pay for it? Would you pay a couple $100 for it?
No, that's a little bit overboard, Dean, don't you think? I could get some similar stuff on Amazon for $9. I'm not going to pay $200 for, but I just wish yeah, it's a caulk gun, but it's for specific food. Like Derek is saying it's a caulk. Do you know what a caulk gun is?
Yeah.
Have you ever used one? It's a caulk gun, but it's food grade. So yeah, you gotta have food grade. I can't use a regular caulk gun, Derek. That's disgusting.
Here you go. Producer Steve is showing us, if you weren't aware, on the screen what that happens to be. The White Sox taking on the Royals. That's Shane Smith versus Cole Reagans. Interesting matchup again, as far as just like you dig into this, small sample stuff. On the season, Shane Smith 2.23 ERA, 4.32 Sierra, right? So regression monster. On the other side, we have Cole Reagans 4.4 ERA, 2.4 Sierra. It's reversed, right? According to the advanced stuff, just the two basic things, right? We're looking at the surface if we're peeking under the hood. We're saying that Smith has been lucky and Reagans has not. Again, just throwing that out there. Of course, Reagans is going to be super popular tonight, and you kind of mentioned potentially playing some Smith because these Royals are kind of fraudulent. They're kind of fraudulent outside of Bobby Witt, Vinny P. It is what's the Monday gimmick for Vinny P? Like Tortellini Tuesday, you got Fettuccine Friday. What is the M? What Italian food starts with M?
Mascarpone.
Mascarpone? What is that?
Isn't that
Did you make that up? Is that a thing?
No.
Chop back number 2. Meatball, mozzarella.
Mascarpone. Yeah.
Manicotti is a good one from Duncan.
Manicotti is a good one. Strong. Well, you caught me. You got me on the. Threw me for a loop. Manicotti is a better one.
Do I have to Google that?
Some sort of like Italian cheese or something. I don't know.
Okay, it's a thing. You're right.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Dean. You think
I didn't hear the R officially? I did not hear the R. Mascarpone? Okay, fair enough. It's in tiramisu. All right, which is pretty. That's like your standard dessert there.
Oh man, I used to be able to make a mean tiramisu, Dean, from scratch.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was good. I don't remember how now. It's been so long.
They phonetically spelled it out for you. Mascarpone? Okay. I'm not sure if that maybe that's correct. I'm not sure. All right. Chop, White Sox, Royals, what do you got?
Yeah, this is not a very interesting offensive game. I'm going to put Kansas City in tier 4 just because the team total is still relatively high, although I don't agree with it. So I'm going to put them in tier 4. I just think the offense is not good. You got one guy. I don't need to stack Kansas City. I just one off Bobby Witt, and I get most of the offense most nights anyway. So that's tier 4. Chicago is going to go in tier 5 because I'm going to play Reagans a lot. I don't want to stack against, and the lineup is, it's lacking for lack of a better term. I think they got some good young pieces, but they're not there yet. I will say this much, Dean. I was actually surprised this weekend when I stumbled upon the leader in stolen bases in Major League Baseball is actually Luis Robert. I thought he was a little too fragile and wouldn't run that much because he's been so injury prone his career. But he leads Major League Baseball in stolen bases. So and obviously he's got the power too. So
he's been caught stealing like 5 times too. Like he's going.
He's going, man. So he's a great one-off. But as far as a stack, it's same as Bobby Witt. I don't need the whole team stack or a mini stack. I just one off the 2 best players from each, the best player from each lineup. I think you're going to get most of the production most nights anyway.
Nobody just yet residing in burritos. By the way, not one team has cracked the top tier. Maybe somebody will. We'll see. Stay tuned. Astros, Brewers, 8.5 total. Tobias Myers taking on 9 righties now. Blanco for the Astros taking on the Brewers. Basically a coin toss here, according to Vegas. Where do we have Houston and Milwaukee?
We're not going to have no burritos in this game either. In fact, both of these teams are going in tier 3 for me. Guacamole. I think they're both just mid. Blanco is prone to get blown. Like he's prone to give up some home runs. Like every once in a while he'll go out there and give up the traditional two or three solo home runs, and so that's really good for your stack. But he's pretty good pitcher altogether. So I don't know if I love stacking. So he's in the middle. Houston's in the middle because not that I believe in Tobias Myers, but it is a pretty decent bullpen following him, however long he goes. And the offense is without Jordan, so there's just a lot of uncertainty there for me. So I'm just going to put them in the middle, although I think some of those pieces in that lineup are coming around, and they'll have better days in the next couple of weeks, but it just not tonight.
All right, clue number 5. Clue number 5. No winner just yet. We got a 5th clue. We have bonus clues if necessary as well. First 4 clues: fall, pass, wild, bar. Get your fast fingers ready. Clue number 5 is violet. Violet is the 5th clue for Movie Monday. Last game on the FanDuel slate, we have Pittsburgh taking on the Cardinals. Carmen Majinski taking on Miles Michaelis. 8.5 total here. St. Louis is one of my favorite teams on the board. Newt Burleson is super cheap in the 2-hole as well. I like Gorman as well. He's pretty cheap. I don't love that ballpark, but I'm not impressed by Majinski, to say the least. The Pirates are basically, O'Neal Cruz and a bunch of dudes. Reynolds is fine, I suppose, but, Joey Bart batting cleanup really says a lot about the rest of this lineup. Where do you have the Pirates and the Cardinals?
All right. Cardinals, Pirates against Miles Mikolas. We've talked about it before. It's typically not a great stack day against him. He's not a great pitcher, but he does keep the ball in the ballpark. So I'm putting Pittsburgh in tier 4. There's just not quite enough power there to worry about them tonight. St. Louis is going to go in tier 2 for me. Don't mind this matchup. They're an okay lineup. They'll be in tier 2 just because you've already pointed it out. There's nobody in burrito yet. So, there's no, as of right now, there's no outstanding stack action. Now, that's going to change coming up. Spoiler alert. But somebody's got to go up here in these top 2, or else you won't be able to, or else it'll be a really boring offensive slate. But I'm going to put St. Louis in tier 2, tacos.
That was the last game on the FanDuel slate. We have 2 more games to go on the DraftKings slate. Again, DraftKings is including the 2 late games. No Mets lineup just yet, unless it just dropped and I missed it. I don't think it has, but the Mets probably one of the better teams on the board for DraftKings. Ryan Nelson taking on Griffin Canning, 9.5 total, locked in for 9, big ballpark bump. D-backs have Ketel Marte back in there. I think he took off yesterday. Where do we have the Mets and Arizona for you?
Mets in Arizona, Dean. You ready for some wild stuff here, Dean?
Go for it.
Bang. Both these teams are in burrito. We went from no burritos to 2 burritos in one game. 2 burritos in one game. I get that wasn't intentional. It just happened organically. I like both these offenses probably more than any other offense tonight. They just happen to be in the same game, which makes it for a great game stack. 2 high team totals here. Griffin Canning has put up some solid numbers this year, but that's not who he is. He's an average pitcher at best. I like some of these pieces in the Arizona lineup. New York, Ryan Nelson. So what makes New York interesting, Dean, is number 1, their lineup is really good. It's really good, really deep. I like that. And if you're into this kind of thing, no spoiler alerts here, but if you're into this kind of thing, they've had a few at-bats against Ryan Nelson, some of these guys, and they've had some success. So I'm putting New York.
This is where this is where the suggestion's going to come from, is what you're saying. That's your alluding to.
No. I said no spoilers. I don't know. Not that, I said no. But it's enough to bump both these offenses up to the number 1 category for me.
Let's go ahead and knock out this last game. Again, crunch time coming in about 5 minutes or so. Chief Minerals Kevin Roth, which, by the way, he did update the report, and I think we're straight yellow now in New York. So there's definitely a little bit more rain on radar than what models were showing, but there's still expected to be enough clearing tonight that this game should play through off and on showers. My current thought is the game plays with 0 issues, maybe a brief late start. Interesting. Okay, and again, this still might change. Still an hour until first pitch. Roth will be all over it. talking about it on Crunch Time in a few minutes. Orange yellow in Washington, which I think, unless I'm making this up, I thought it was yellow orange about a half hour ago. So I think he might have got a little harder on this, and we'll get some clarity on that momentarily. Let's knock out this last game on the board. It is the Mariners. The Mariners in Sacramento taking on the Athletics. Bryce Miller, Luis Severino. No Mariners lineup just yet. Athletics pretty standard, with the exception of Andujar jumping in there for, I believe, Urshela. Where do we have the Mariners? Of course, a nice ballpark bump for them getting out of Safeco. T-Mobile now? I think it's T-Mobile now. Either way, whatever you want to call it, it is a pitcher's paradise. Mariners, Athletics. What do you got?
Yeah, so I'm let me see here. All right, I'm going with Seattle against Severino in tier 3. This would be a tier 2 for me, but I don't like that. I think we're projecting to have Dylan Moore and Randy Arozarena out of the lineup tonight. So, that bumps that lineup down to tier 3 for me. So I don't like that aspect of it. But if they had a full lineup and they were healthy, I would put them in tier 2. I think Severino's average at best. Oakland's going to go in tier 3 also. What really draws me to Oakland, and Bryce Miller's a good pitcher, but he does have one characteristic that I don't mind attacking tonight. I think that's my let me see here. I don't know, Dean. They might be my knockers. Maybe not. Tough call if I want. I think I got some Oakland knockers tonight, so I don't want to give that little nugget away. I'll give it away, Dean. Here's what I like. Here's the thing I like about going against Bryce Miller tonight. He's given up 7 stolen bases in 30 innings this year. Incredibly high rate, the highest rate on the slate by far, the most volume by far. So you can get to him in that aspect of it. So my knockers is going to include a little speed knockers, like a punching bag, like speed knockers.
Jack in the bag.
We'll see how it plays out. But as far as full-on stacks, 3 and 3.
Moore is on the IL, and Arozarena hurt his hamstring last night. So, yeah, we're assuming he's not going to play. And maybe that's why the lineup's not out. It's still 4 hours. We did just get the Mets, by the way. Marte is in. I believe he left yesterday's game. Acuna is not in. So that is your Metropolitans. All right, my apologies. Just getting caught up with a cough here. Crunch time coming in here in a minute. So, Chop, we do a little bit dicey. We had to make a call here on the fly. Myself and producer Steve, we had to make a call as far as today's Movie Monday because people were dancing around it and didn't give the exact answer of this movie. And it's funny that somebody got the back end right, somebody got the front end right. We are going to reward, looks like Ravens fan, Chop, but today's Movie Monday. Fall. There's a famous gif of the lead character in this movie. They're just kind of walking with a cane. They're limping, they're walking with the cane, they fall, and all of a sudden, it's a miracle. They can walk perfectly fine. A pass would be like a ticket. If you have a pass or to get into a place, you have a ticket to get into something. In this movie, there was 5 tickets available. 5 lucky children won a ticket, a pass, to get into a particular place that was very secretive at the time. Wild is a play on the lead character's name. The lead character in this movie, Gene. Bar is, how do you get yourself a pass, Chop? You got to buy yourself a chocolate bar. You got to buy yourself a chocolate bar to get into this secretive place. Violet is a play on the lead character's wears some purple, and one of the main characters, one of the children, was named Violet. Of course, Chop, we are talking about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Somebody guessed just the Chocolate Factory, and then Ravens fans say Willy Wonka, and then we didn't really want to dance around it too much, but that's, I think producer Steve made the call, so they don't. There you go. I'm putting it on him. It was a joint call. I was talking to him as we wanted to hand out a winner, and Ravens fan, get yourself. What do you got, Steve?
So he said just Willy Wonka. He left off the Chocolate Factory part.
Yeah.
And that is the original one you're talking about with Gene Wilder. The new
Yes.
one with Johnny Depp is actually called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory instead of Willy Wonka, which someone also guessed. But since it's technically the old one and it's called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka wins.
And
did.
Gene Wilder
the
was a
person
clue.
who guessed Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because it's kind of confusing. I didn't even know that until today. I gave them 3-day pass.
Look at you. All right. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Shout out to producer Steve. Crunch time coming here momentarily. We're going to have some knockers for the people. Oh, you know what? We got to recap the board. Can you throw the board back upstairs, Steve? You mind? Give the people the recap as far as, and again, if you're joining us late, understand, 2 of these games are not on the FanDuel slate. 2 of these games are not on the DK slate. The 6 in the middle are on both. The 2 in the that are early are on FanDuel. The 2 that are late are on DK. Burritos, it's the old game stack. People love themselves a game stack chop. Arizona and the Mets. Tacos has the Dodgers. Atlanta, the Cardinals. Guacamole's got Cleveland, Washington, the Yankees, Cincinnati, Houston, Milwaukee, Seattle, and the Athletics. A lot going on in the middle. Menudo has the Marlins, San Diego, Chicago, KC, Pittsburgh, and in the gutter, the normal spot for the White Sox in the 5-hole. Street dish in rural Mexico. It's San Fran and the White Sox. Chop. The people want the Dockers. The people want the BBP suggestion of the day.
BBP suggestion of the day. Just a suggestion based on a little prior history. Some of the stuff matches out pretty good in my algorithm. Big Meat Pete Alonso. We're going Big Meat Pete Alonso against Nelson. Pete Alonso going to be the BVP suggestion of the day. I was torn on the knockers. I got several candidates to choose from, but with the stolen bases and a little bit off the radar, I'm going to go with them Sacramento knockers. Lawrence Butler, who leads this team in stolen bases. If there's anybody that's going to take advantage of Miller's tendency to give up steals, Lawrence Butler is going to do it. I'm going to pair him with Tyler Soderstrom, who can provide power against anybody, it seems like this year. He's got the power. So a little thunder and lightning there, Dean. A little Butler and Soderstrom.
I did take a peek as far as Alonso's history versus Ryan Nelson. And he's got a whole 9 at-bats, 4 hits, 1 single, 3 homers. So there you go. You like the homers, of course. There you go. 9 at-bats is enough, I suppose, to just at least suggest it. You can at least suggest it. You don't have to fully commit to it.
Correct.
Chop, anything else you want to say before? It's just a suggestion, of course.
Suggestion, team. We're all dealing with small samples and manipulated numbers, Dean. That's all. So we're just doing our best here.
We got chief mineralogist Kevin Roth. Some would call him Doppler Boy. I don't know if you've seen that video or not, but that is spectacular. That was on the RG Twitter account. Roth coming on. We got Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, and of course we have back from Mexico. It's Kirkwood, Kirkdiese. Let's go ahead. Let's do it. Spring and crunch time right now. Roth, what's going on? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
I feel like Kirkwood's going to light into me. He's going to he's not
your list sucked.
Friday.
Was it your list? Was that your
It
list?
was mostly Chop's list. Go ahead. Go with Chop by all means.
Chop. Burritos are not better than tacos. Tacos just have so much more variety. That's crazy.
Here goes Dean throwing me under the bus again.
Yeah. And rural Mexican food is probably the best out of all of those things. I bet that would have been delicious.
That's what I said. I was
Let
arguing
me
for
pull
it.
up the receipts. Like I have to pull up the receipts again. This guy, he says burritos are the best. Put burritos number 1 and all. I'm like, okay, I'll go along with it because you're part of this list too. Like this is all Dean. Come on,
that's fair.
Man.
That makes sense. Actually, I thought it was a Dean take from the beginning.
You guys may have discussed this, but what in the world is a menudo other than the band? You can't eat that band.
I didn't know that either. It wasn't just me. We are not cultured together, the 2 of us. I was not aware. Chop it to tell me. I had to Google. It's a food.
Yeah.
All right. I will look it up later. And while I'm listening to some classic old menudo tunes.
What is your favorite menudo song?
I don't even off the top of my head. I can only think of "Hold Me." I can't even think of, like, aren't most of them like Spanish titles? I don't even think I could name a lot of songs. I just know that I'm going to listen to them tonight.
Fair enough. And your
I
second
don't know if
second favorite band member from Menudo?
I don't know that I could do that either. But I, the one I can name, I don't know that I would call that my first favorite band member either.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do. I definitely only know that they're glorious. I know nothing about them beyond that they existed, and I enjoyed it at the time.
Chop, we got anything else? But Roth, we're trying to get some movies for you, by the way. People are giving some suggestions in the Twitter.
Ones.
We're trying to. There's
some real stinkers in that lot.
Yeah, we're gonna have you
before you go. I wanted to let the people know what a gentleman you are, because we made a bet. It was $50 and I have to watch a terrible movie. And when you won, you said, "Don't even worry about the $50. If you want, you can donate it to the V Foundation." So I did donate $50 to the V Foundation in honor of Mean Dean. That's what I wrote. This is in honor of Mean Dean. So
I've got a better thing to donate your money to. I have two better, actually.
Oh, okay. Is there something wrong with cancer research? Go for it.
Well, I mean, Dave's wife does some amazing stuff every year, so that's one right there. That's I have one that I haven't told the world yet, but I'm sure Dean knows about it. That he could do. But
okay, all right. Well, next time.
Yeah.
Okay, noted. All right. Thank you.
The V Foundation is a good one, though.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I'm not pro-cancer. I'm not pro-cancer.
That's what it's like.
You have your hot takes, but I think even you have your limits, I think.
Yeah.
Dave, did you want to tell the people about your wife's foundation?
Well, sure. It's called Redeeming Grace, and she runs a home for women transitioning out of rehab or prison. It's like a year to 2 long year program to help them rebuild their lives, get back on their feet. Good
stuff. All right. We will get a movie for you probably tomorrow, Roth. We're putting together. People are giving some suggestions. I know Alan from RG was kind of mean, giving some suggestions as well. You're writing down. You're taking names. If anybody wants a weather report at some point, you're gonna circle back and say, well, wait a second.
Yeah. No.
This is your fault. This is your fault, and they weren't there for you when you needed them most. But myself and Chop are going to step aside and get out of here, make way for crunch time. You guys got FanDuel lock early, DK lock in like 45 minutes or so. Roth, give us some weather. He wants some updates. Also, you just updated your article. It is all yours. Take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It's two of the sharpest minds in the biz. My guy Kirkdiese in the house. What up, Kirkwood? How are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, I'm not doing well, actually. I went to Mexico this weekend. They lost my luggage coming back. The whole trip was a disaster. It was right in the middle of Mexico. It wasn't like a resort or anything. It was a wedding like that. It was just really hard to do everything. I got no sleep last night, but I am here, and I like this slate. And I also wanted to say I did watch on the plane yesterday the Rockets last night. That was just maddening. I feel your pain because I was rooting for them as well. Tari Eason was just way too soft. I think that the team as a whole was just way too soft. It felt like they never had a chance the whole game.
It was why of all the things that I thought could have lost them the game, them coming out and just being soft was not on my list. I just didn't expect that level of lackadaisical play. I was infuriated.
So the last of it is that you can watch a real team tonight take care of business in the Boston Celtics. So let's go.
Okay. That'll make me feel so much better. Thank you. We got Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood in the house as well. Cheese, what's happening, bud?
Not too much. I know it wasn't Kirk's wedding, so it's not his fault, but just for the people watching, if you're ever going to get married, a lot of wedding locations here in America now. I know you used to have to go to Mexico. You could actually do it right here in the USA. So keep that in mind if you're getting married in the future.
Trump is bringing weddings back to USA. Great weddings. Doesn't matter that the bride was half Mexican.
Weddings, the best
Doesn't matter
weddings.
that she's half Mexican. Yeah, but these are the best American weddings.
Keep going with that for a while. All right. Anyhow, it is the first show with Kirk this year. I've seen him, in the old crossover, but glad you made it back for the show today, Kirk.
Yeah, thanks. I was looking. I mean, I wanted to find a cover, and then I was like, "Oh no, I'm with Dave." I enjoy being with Dave so much.
There it is. Oh, look at that. That was just such a great night for you.
What a night that was, man. We could talk about that for days, but we don't have time.
John Hansen, the chat says, "Big, beautiful weddings." That's good. I read that in his voice. All right. People want the content because FanDuel Lock is coming up shortly. So quick weather update. New York maybe needs a brief late start, but things look to be clearing. Initially, I was like, all right, I want to see it before I just fully trust the models. Now I'm seeing what models were showing, which is we are indeed clearing in New York. Play whatever you want in New York. I think that game is going to likely go 9 innings without any delays, maybe a 10 or 15-minute late start. Washington is the game that is the bigger question mark. And correct me if I'm wrong, that is FanDuel only, correct, Cheese?
Yes, and you only need hitters.
Okay. They did officially declare a late start in that game in case you missed it. So it is a late start in Washington. My guess is that they're going to play the game, but I don't feel super confident in that. Forecast models really clear this out pretty quick, and it looks pretty good, but radar looks pretty gnarly. My guess is that they're going to play, but I really do not have a high confidence in that whatsoever. And if you do not want any risk, I would not play it. Is that fair? That's because that's the best I got.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, let's dive into it because the people want the plays. They want the pitchers. They want all that. Cheese, you can start us off. Oh, and by the way, 213 votes on the poll and only 114 likes is mildly disrespectful to Cheese. And you don't disrespect my friend Cheese. You hit that like button.
There you go. And kind of the poll was kind of about Cheese.
Oh, I missed it.
It was. Do you like hard shell or soft shell tacos? Most people are going to have cheese in either one.
It's true.
I'm not going to have cheese in either. But you know, the point is,
there was cheese involved.
Yeah, cheese could have been involved. This is a weird slate, man. I don't know. I know what I'm doing because I built my lineups and now I'm on this show, but I don't know for sure what to tell you. If there's just no concern at all about Cole Reagan's health, he's clearly the SP1. I think he's probably fine. Like his last start, he had a groin strain. The velocity was down. He only lasted 3 innings. It was his worst start in years. He missed his last start. So this is not the lock button that this would be on a lot of slates. But I still think you just have to trust the team. Like the Royals are not going to throw him if he's not okay. Yeah. So maybe he doesn't go 100 pitches today. It doesn't really matter though. Assuming that he's fine-ish. He is the SP1. He is still my highest owned pitcher, but it's close. And, you know, without that concern, I would have had him at 90%. Now I have him at like 60. I lowered him a little bit after your last update because the natural pivots to him are the 2 pitchers in that Yankees game. It's Nick Pivetta and Carlos Rodon. Those are the guys you spend up for that have the same upside as Reagan's. They both have more risk from the matchup, but I do like both those guys. And so I took out a few Reagan's lineups and put in a little more Rodon and Pivetta, given that you're thinking that game probably plays.
Yeah.
The guy who's the chalky SP2 and the chalky cheaper option on FanDuel is Matthew Boyd. I'm totally fine with Matthew Boyd. I have more Matthew Boyd than I want to have. He's not great. Like this is not some amazing pitcher. So I think it's reasonable to pivot to like, you know, Brady Singer is kind of the, what do you do with Brady Singer guy? I would rather spend down from Boyd rather than up to Singer. The guy that has jumped up in my mind from where I was this morning in the musings, sadly and frighteningly, is Ronel Blanco. He's been amazing against righties in a small sample, and the Brewers only had 4 lefties to start with, and one of them's out. They have 3 lefties. This guy has struck out 31% of righties, and he's facing mostly righties. Mm-hmm. In general, I don't like him, but I like him right now, and I think he's underpriced for this matchup. So he is now my 3rd highest owned pitcher, Reagan's, Boyd, Blanco, followed by Rodon and Pivetta pivots. The 2 guys that I have no idea what to do with are Bryce Miller and Luis Severino. And I also have no idea what to do with the offenses in those games, which we'll get to. I have almost no Bryce Miller. I just don't like that he can't throw strikes all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere, and they're being a little weird with his pitch count. So I'm actually playing a little more Severino. But after that lineup came out again for the Brewers, I would just rather play Blanco and save that salary, and I would rather play Boyd. Where I need to go super cheap, I actually have a couple Miles Michaelis lineups, which is always terrible. And then the other guy, I can't tell you for sure what you're supposed to do with him, is Tobias Myers.
Yeah, 5'7".
The dude, he hasn't been good. He's only made a couple starts. They've been short. And then he came in relief a couple days ago, threw an inning in relief like 3 days ago. I don't even know if they think he's a starter. Like, I feel like he's a long opener right now. And you don't really need the salary. So, like, he could throw 80 pitches. I don't know. But I don't think you need the salary that much. So I have very little Tobias Myers.
And if their plan is only for 2 innings, you're kind of screwed, right? I mean, that's
like I doubt the plan is 2 innings, but I would not be surprised if it's 4. Like,
yeah, okay.
Like, I would be very surprised if it's 5 or 6.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. Well, that was very neatly broken down. Let's bring in Kirkdiese. I did see a cheer for, I think it was Renel Blanco that got the cheer from Kirkwood. What up? What are your thoughts here?
Yes, sir. So I think obvious. So there's not a ton here in general, period. It's like you can poke holes in everybody. Like Nick Pivetta, even with the weather, if it is good, like that's a far stretch against the Yankees, obviously. And same with Rodon against the Padres. Not a good matchup for either. I think the top 2 that are clearly for FanDuel are Cole Reagans and Matt Boyd. Boyd more so because of the weather, but he's been pretty good. And San Francisco is kind of a middling matchup here. So I think Reagans is fine. I'm like, you got to trust him, and especially on this slate, because there's just not much else that if he goes off, I mean, his metrics are just far better than everyone else's pretty much. And so he's the guy. But if you want to save some money, I wrote up salary savers. I wrote up Blanco today, and I did a deep dive. I went through him pretty closely. And what I came to is that, yes, I saw those splits, which is 31% to righties and 9% Ks to lefties, which is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. He's had problems, and the real problems that has been when he has 2 pitches that when he doesn't have command of them, then he's going to struggle. They're going to sit back and wait on the fastball, and he's in trouble now. And that's why he has high walks, but he has the second highest swinging strike rate on the slate. If he gets those under command, he's going to do well, I think, and really well. So I think there's obvious risk here that his command is bad, and then you'll know, like right away, if he starts walking people and they just start teeing off on his fastball. But if he's going, he's going to put up a big score. And I'm betting that he's going to figure it out, and also that you'll see the strikeouts come up with the lefties, and like Dave said, they only have 3 lefties in the lineup, so this is a good spot for him.
Yeah.
So I would just stop right there for FanDuel.
Okay. How about DK? You need 2.
DK, I've got some other plays for sure. I have, and this is I'll go for the regular ones. First of all, I say regular because it's not the salary savers that I wrote up. So they have to be under a certain salary. But Reagan's an obvious one. Boyd is another obvious one. I'm out on Singer. I like offense on both of those sides of the game, in Atlanta and Cincy. I'm in on Bryce Miller, who's had, they took him out for his back tightened up in that start, and it was annoying. He was pitching well. And I think I believe the team again that you got to know if they're throwing him out there after already having some concern, then I think you got to assume that he's fine. So I like that, but I got an out there play, and I like Blanco too. Shane Smith. All right. Shane Smith is the White Sox pitcher against the Chalk Royals tonight. First off, how many times have the Royals chalk? Does the Royals chalk ever get there? In my mind, all I have is disappointment playing this team over and over again. But this kid is good, and he's overpriced, so he's not. The models hate him because he probably has around an 82 pitch count, somewhere in that range. And but he's got electric stuff. He's their best pitcher. He's facing the chalkiest stack on the team. If there's ever a night to use him, I think it's tonight. So for deep GPP plays, make sure you have some Shane Smith.
Yeah. Okay. Any other names you want to throw in there?
I'm fine with Myers too, Tobias Myers, just for that price. he only threw 11 pitches. I think he's probably, when they put him in relief. So I'm not worried about him like being tired and them holding him back that way. So I think whatever we're thinking for a pitch count, I think it's going to be on the higher end. And I think for 5,700, that's a steal.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Let's switch it up. Let's talk about the bats and the stacks. Kirkwood, you can lead us off there.
Okay. For stacks for draft, I mean, this is a slate where it's like pretty much you could make a case for every single offense. So I'll just tell you what I ranked on mine on FanDuel. So I've got the Dodgers number one. Obviously, I think it's just a really solid spot. They have massive upside in this matchup, so it's tough to get away from them. I like the Braves. Like I said, I like both sides of that game, Atlanta and Cincy. I think both pitchers are exploitable, and I think this is a game where there could, the Reds, they could get on the base paths with Ellie and also some power. It's a decent park, and then Atlanta obviously has the home run power you're looking for in a slate like this. The chalk is KC. I have it ranked like fourth. I'm just not a big fan of Kansas City chalk, but they are so cheap. They do have home run upside. They are facing the White Sox. White Sox their bullpen gives up a lot of homers too. So I have to announce them. And then the Cubs. Why not the Cubs? Like I've not played them. I've not played them because of weather, concerns, like where it's not great weather and winds blowing in, and they smash. And they smash. So this is an awesome offense. Then you're probably getting them under-owned for this slate tonight.
Yeah, that's all fair. Makes sense. Cheese, your thoughts stack-wise, and maybe start with Kansas City if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm a little under on Kansas City. I'm more just using a couple bats here and there. I'm not under on Bobby Witt, but I am under on the rest of the team. I guess Michael Massey just on DK just because he's a second baseman and he's cheap. But I don't have a ton of full stacks, and I'm not playing Shane Smith tonight. But I agree that like he's a good pitcher. Like he's not just some random dude on the White Sox, which everyone else is that. Like he is actually good, which is enough to make me not love the stack. My top team is the Diamondbacks. Some good Diamondbacks jokes going on in the musings today. Too late now. Diamondbacks Mets. We're going double dipping in that game. I like the Cardinals a little bit. Definitely the Cubs. Like just play the Cubs every day. I don't know what we're doing. Like I get it, how weird it looks every day, especially on DK, to have Carson Kelly at 5,400 and Michael Busch at 51. All they do is score the most runs every day. Like, right. It doesn't matter.
And even 50 degrees, winds blowing in, they don't care. Still doing it. Yeah.
If they need to hit doubles instead of home runs, they'll hit doubles. Yeah. And then, Braves and Reds are kind of right there. The whole slate's in play, like Kirk said right off the top. But if I could only pick one team, it would be Arizona.
Okay, Cheese. We've got FanDuel lock here in 10 minutes? Is that correct?
Yeah. Let's touch on those.
It might be 5 minutes
real quick.
Okay, so let's just talk about those two games, or rather the one game, the two teams, and then we can just go around the horn.
Yeah, normally. It is two games. The Dodgers Marlins game is on there too.
Oh, okay.
There's no weather there. They're playing.
That's why it didn't even register. Yeah.
The weatherman does not care about that game. Dodgers stacks, absolutely playable, expensive, and won't be high owned. Like they're there with the Cubs. Like play them. But I don't have a lot of Dodgers because of the pricing. I do really like the Cleveland lefties, mostly Jose Ramirez and Kyle Manzardo. That's pretty much just what I'm doing with those two games. And I'm fine to add on and make that a Cleveland stack, play a little like Carlos Santana or Bo Naylor or something if you need salary. And then the Nationals are kind of in that big tangle of all those teams we mentioned on DK. It's fine if you wanted to play like Abrams or Wood on their own. But to me, that's more of a stack that's just kind of in the big tangle.
Yeah. Kirkwood, any thoughts on those FanDuel games? You got two games not on the DK slate. Anything you want to say before lock in 4 minutes?
Yeah, this pitching guru who never misses examines injuries. He thinks Alcantara is going to be dust soon. And that makes me like the Dodgers more. And I would obviously you don't want to play him against the Dodgers anyway. But that's really all my thoughts. I like the same guys. Manzardo's a beast. I like they're cheap, the Indians on that side. So I like a stack there. That whole game's stackable.
Yeah. Sorry, we don't actually use that word. It is now called the double dip.
Double dip.
It's a double dip.
Yes, I'm sorry. And I agree with the double dip. I didn't mention Arizona. I have Arizona ranked number 1 actually, which is funny. For on the DraftKings side.
Yeah. Cheese does not like the term game stack in baseball, and a double dip is a nod to ice cream. Thus,
maybe Lickamade too. Remember those fun dips?
Oh yeah, I do. Why was that a thing? Yeah. Okay, very good. Well, let's go around the horn now and work our way position by position. And Kirkwood, you can start us off with a little catcher talk.
So are we going, or we're just picking up on FanDuel, or?
I think DraftKings, Cheese.
So we can just do both. Just keeping in mind FanDuel has locked, but you can still make changes in most of your lineups if you didn't play those first 2 games.
Okay. What position, catcher?
Yeah, sorry, I was reading the chat and I got distracted. Yes, catcher.
Okay, Cal Raleigh, number 1 pick in the ballpark against Severino. He's expensive on DraftKings, 5,200. He has a double dong as opposed to double dip upside always. Salvador Perez is cheap. He's one of the bats that you have to like in this game, even if you don't like the Royals. We have 4K as a steal batting cleanup against the White Sox for him. Yainer Diaz looks pretty solid, batting 5th for the Astros at 3,300. William Contreras at 4,400, and then we do have we have a 2K cheapie in the San Diego New York game, Campusano, who's always hit left-handed pitching pretty well, batting 5th. So I think that's your punt.
Good stuff, Cheese. Catch your thoughts.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be a running theme. I don't love anything, and I kind of like everything. It's kind of like with the stacks. Like, you can kind of play everything, but none of it's just amazing. Like, Cal Raleigh is the best play, but he's up to 52 now, facing a decent pitcher. Sure, play him because he hits multiple home runs every night. But I don't think it's a must play. And all these guys in the 4K range are they're fine. But I kind of prefer them more in stacks just because the way the splits line up are just not in favor for any of them. Contreras, Langoliers, Perez, Stevenson, you would all prefer those pitchers from the other handedness. So yeah, I'm playing Campusano in a lot of lineups. Just take the 2K guy who maybe he does something, maybe he doesn't, but he's not a nonsense hitter.
He's 2K.
So I'm very on board with him.
Yeah. All right. First base, Cheese.
All right. So here's the first place we run into Royals chalk with Vinny P. And he is my second favorite Royals hitter. I'm fine with Vinny P. But I don't want to play him unless I really need the salary. I definitely prefer Matt Olson is probably my favorite. Naylor and Pavin Smith, the Arizona guys. Alonso's a little tougher to get to, although I like him a lot. I would rather play Christian Walker than Vinny P. Yeah, Rowdy Tellez is the super cheap punt that can hit a home run, 2,400 on DK. If you can use that extra money from Vinny P, just play Tellez and spend 700 elsewhere. That's kind of it. I don't. And again, Manzardo's already locked. I like him on FanDuel. But Olsen is cheaper and a little more likable on FanDuel. But I'm very spread out. I don't have the 1 or 2 guys that I'm just heavy on at this position.
Yeah. Kirkwood, first base, please.
Yep. It's if Dave forgot to mention, it is Meatball Monday, the official day for home runs for Vinny P. So I had to mention that. Obviously,
is it also Tortellini Tuesday?
Yes,
I feel like there's some Italian pun for every day, but Meatball Monday is good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, used to be Mozzarella Mondays, but
okay.
Alec Burleson's just cheap for the Cardinals against anybody who's not Paul Skeens on Pittsburgh. For 2,800, but this is a really good matchup against Carmen Mazinski. So, there's pinch hit risk always with him, but 2,800 batting second with home run power is a good play and a pivot off of Vinny P. Spencer Steer is also cheap for 3,600. Brings you home run upside on the Reds against Atlanta. I like Alonso a lot. It's one of my favorite plays. 5,700 is tough to get to. Hopefully that keeps his ownership down. Dave said Rowdy Tellez. That's an obvious cheap punt because you get the nice bulk, the better bulk ballpark now for the A's. And he's only 2,400 and has been hitting decently well. So home run upside there. And then maybe Josh Naylor. Canning's problem has always been home runs. And so Josh Naylor is an obvious play for the Diamondbacks tonight. So like that. And then I'll throw Matt Olson too.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. That brings us to second base, I do believe. Kirkwood.
All right. Matt McClain batting second for 4,400 looks pretty solid for Cincy. Like that game. Double dip is in play. Massey is the cheap chalk who probably will get pinch hit for, and he's 2,300. He's been terrible unless he went off this weekend. Well,
He hit a home run yesterday, Kirk. He's hot.
Yeah.
now he's hot.
It's time. Let's go. Let's go. It's time. Been waiting. I'm been trying to catch his home run. Ketel Marte, massive upside in this game against the Mets. This is the Dave double dip of the night. So he's probably him and Corbin Carroll are the two highest upside plays for the Diamondbacks. Like that, Brendan, and I like all the St. Louis guys are all cheap and all have home run upside in this matchup with Pitt. So Brendan Donovan and Nolan Gorman, I like a lot.
Okay. Cheese producer Steve wants to know if this is Marte's first game back, and then I want your thoughts at second.
He played Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. Okay.
So third game back and got
All
a day off yesterday. So yeah, on DK, because of just the way the position is, I am playing a ton of Michael Massey. And it's kind of like Camposano at catcher. Like, if he gets some points, great. If not, probably still great.
Yeah.
I don't know what do you do? So he gets 0 and Ozzy Albies gets 7. I don't care. I have the money now. I kind of like Albies and McClain and Donovan, I guess, kind of. But I think I like Nolan Gorman as much as any of them, and he's $1,000 cheaper. It's really hard to make a case to spend up at second. I mean, McClain is not expensive now, but he also might not be good at baseball. So there's that issue. We're very much in wait and see mode on McClain. Like he definitely has power. It's not clear that he can hit the ball when he swings at it anymore, if he ever could. I don't know. So I just really want to save money at second, and that's what I'm doing.
Okay, go to third base.
So third, I think, is a little better than first, but similar in that it's just they're all just kind of there, and they all have upside, but none of them have quite like the perfect matchup. Suarez is my favorite, followed by Polanco, followed by Riley, followed by Machado. But those four are all very closely bunched, and in salary, they're all about the same. So I'm pretty mixed and matched between those four. And then I have a little bit of Vientos. I'm playing Gorman mostly at second, but he's third base on DK as well. And that's what I'm doing. So those top four guys.
Did you say India, Dave?
No, I sure didn't.
Okay.
He's cheap. He's cheap. But to me, that is not the chalk that I want.
Exactly. So that's what I have. I wasn't sure because my dog is kind of snoring over here. I was worried about him. Yeah, I'm playing. That's where I'm playing Nolan Gorman over him I'm going for home run upside. Good.
Any other thoughts at third for me?
Mark Vientos on the Mets. I love the Suarez call. It's boom or bust with him, and this is a good game to get some homers. I like all the big bats. Like even now Machado, because the weather looks like at least it could be playable, and then Austin Riley and Arenado even for 4,200. I like all of these Cardinals bats.
Okay. We did get an official start time in New York. Game expected to start at 7:30 Eastern. Okay. Sure. That distracted me. I think we're at shortstop, Kirkwood. Yeah.
Short. This is the one chalk play you probably want to play on the roads, and Bobby Witt Jr. He may get all the production. but is expensive and has the obvious pivot there with Ellie De La Cruz. So there's a lot of upside at this position tonight because they also got Lindor right there too. Polanco would, if I had to, I would go to him. It's not bad for shortstop. JP Crawford for a punt at 3,400, but mainly I just want Bobby Witt, Ellie De La Cruz, or Lindor. And the one last guy I would throw in there would be I wouldn't fault you for playing Jeremy Pena for 4,100 leading off. So that's where I'm going.
Cheese, there's a lot of big spend ups, a lot of good hitters here. What do you like?
Yeah, let's not overcomplicate things. Witt, De La Cruz, Lindor, and you're done. Like, sure, play guy in a stack here and there, but that's it. That's the position. And on FanDuel, you could add O'Neal Cruz to that, although you could just play him in the outfield and play a bunch of these guys. But yeah, like part of the reason I'm just playing Massey and Camposano is like I'm not going to punt at shortstop. It's Witt, De La Cruz, Lindor. Done.
I'm so glad you brought up O'Neal Cruz because I was actually going to ask you about a Cruz v. Cruz update because Ellie De La Cruz, I think, very good. O'Neal Cruz, maybe not. Is that what's happening here?
Oh, no, O'Neal Cruz is very good.
Oh, okay. They're both very good.
O'Neal Cruz is actually the better player, honestly, and probably. I mean, he's already. I just looked. I wasn't sure. I felt like it was a lot. He's already up to 14 steals and 8 homers. I think he's the better player, honestly.
Okay.
They're both fantasy superstars, if not.
They're both ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't. Yeah. Okay, good to know. Good. I'm pulling for both. Derek pointing out O'Neal Cruz hits the ball very hard.
Yeah, like he is very angry at it. A baseball did something to him at a young age, and he has not forgotten it.
Yeah. Okay, I think that takes us to the outfield, and I believe it's Cheese that gets to lead us out into the outfield.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And we will start with O'Neal Cruz there on DK. So this high end is fantastic. It's Cruz, Corbin Carroll, Tatis, and Judge, and Kyle Tucker. All essentially like $6,000. I love every single one of them. And again, the reason I'm playing this cheap nonsense at like catcher first and second is so I can play at least one of these guys, if not two. I rank them Cruz, Carroll, Tatis, Judge, Tucker, but whatever. Just it's kind of like with the 3 shortstops. Just play them.
Yeah.
Whichever one you prefer, great. That's also a great play. A little cheaper, Juan Soto and all the A's outfielders. I do not like that the A's are all outfielders now. They've got 4 outfielders. They moved Soderstrom away from first. So now you can't play Rooker, Butler, Soderstrom, and Blade all together. Tonight's not the night. I love them anyway. But it still bothers me.
Yeah. For
my one A's stack, you just can't play them all. If they were in Oakland, they could, but West Sacramento, they got 4 outfielders. You cannot do it. Brian Reynolds is 3,900. Probably the best value play. I really like Lars Nootbaar in the mid-tier. Let's look at my little sheet here. Lourdes Gurriel is my favorite cheap play on DK. And then you could do like the cheap Royals if you need to, or Isaac Collins if you need to. But for the most part, Gurriel is as low as I'm trying to go.
Okay, good stuff. Kirkwood, thoughts on the outfield?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on those Pirates 2 bats like against Mikolas. Mikolas is just 6% swinging strike rate and has somehow not given up any homers yet this season. And I would just look for the production from those 2 bats on the Pirates, and that would be the only guys I'll play, Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz. Now for the big guys, I like Soto is one of my favorite plays. Corbin Carroll I love. Julio Rodriguez I love in that park. Nimmo. It's all I'm all like Mets and Diamondbacks too. So I'm glad that Dave is on that. Makes me feel nice. Lawrence Butler, I think, is a good shot for a home run tonight at 4,700. And then Brett Rooker. I mean, that's another game I like a lot. So a lot of plays in both of those games. Just chase the home run upside, and you kind of know who are all the big boppers. But Lars Nootbaar for St. Louis leading off at 4,700, and Soderstrom. I mean, you have to mention him.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff, guys. We have 14 minutes until lock. Maybe we'll hang out that long. Maybe not. I don't know. We started a long time ago. We'll see. We want to give the people some home run calls. That is something that they always are clamoring for. They're always asking for. And we want to make sure they're getting the best deal in the industry as well. And that is something I'm always giving. MLB DFS annual option, 425 shillings. But we dropped the price of our Combo Pro to match the MLB annual package. So you get more stuff for the same price. Why wouldn't you do that? You would, because you're not dumb. You get full access to our content tools and projections for every sport except NASCAR at a cheaper price than the monthly package. End up saving 35% if you do it that way. So you should do that. Derek says DK lock is now at 7:15. I'm not staying that late. So that's not happening. Yeah,
we're already on. This is overtime already.
Yeah. This is insane. This is insanity. But go ahead if you have any questions. I certainly do want to make sure we answer those. First, though, let's give some home run calls. Kirkwood, you get to lead us off in that department. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Lawrence Butler on the Oakland A's leading off. Maybe even a potential first pitch dong.
Ooh, I like it. I feel like that qualifies as somewhat sneaky, or no? Lawrence Butler, where does that stand in the sneakiness ranks? Middle?
I think it kind of is, but it shouldn't be. I think people, like anyone who's really paying attention knows, but.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Cheese, you got a few names for me?
O'Neal Cruz, Eugenio Suarez, and Nolan Gorman.
Okay. Those are O'Neal Cruz and Eugenio Suarez are both too chalky. I'm going to need something sneakier, Cheese. I guess Nolan Gorman's your sneak.
Yeah, even Lizzie the dog just barked when I said those three.
Yeah, it's too easy.
Our daughter stole her shot caller, which is why she never barked during a show before. So something's going on now. And what's going on is two chalky homers. So let's also go then with Emmanuel Valdez.
Yeah. I feel you need to get that back pretty quickly because otherwise she's going to get used to barking all the time.
We ordered a new one. Well, she doesn't. It's one like you. It's you can zap it whenever you need. It's like a training collar. And when she has it on, she's so absolutely perfect. Yeah. So it's on the way back.
Okay, good. Just making sure. And to be clear, for those who are very anti, there's also just like a vibrating one. It's just the vibration just reminds the dog, and then so
that's what this one is. Yeah, it's not an actual shock.
There you go. So just wanted to make sure people were clear on that. All right, hey, let's answer some questions. Starting in the Discord where the cool kids hang out. I would love it if you could hit us with a thumbs up, especially after I kind of nailed that Yankees game. Even though I was very ambiguous on the other game because I don't know what the hell's going to happen even now. DKGPP, Cheese, Pavin, Smith, and Butler, or Naylor and Blade?
Pavin and Butler.
J. Sam says, Roth, although it's too late to do any changes for the Nationals game, would you give us one final report on the Nationals game? Is there any optimism? It's not great. Would be my thoughts. It's going to rain really hard for a couple of hours. And they're going to have to play it late, 9, 10 o'clock if they're going to play that game. So I don't know. Yeah. But also they late started, not postponed, which makes me think that's what they kind of plan on doing. FanDuel single entry, Kirkwood, Smith Shawver? Is that a name? Geez, Smith Shawver?
That's his name. You got it. That's
a horrible name. That's just a Smith Shawver.
Smith just kept the Smith and got rid of the Shawver at that point.
Yeah, that's awful. Kirkwood, FanDuel single entry, Smith Shawver, Smith or Blanco at pitcher?
Blanco.
Okay. DKGPP, right back to you, Kirk. Alec Burleson would be a one-off, or Drew Waters completing a 5-3 stack.
I like, if you have the stack, play Drew Waters because that's kind of the sneakier play of the Royals stack. So I would say that.
Okay. Jumping into the old YouTube. Everybody hit that thumbs up for me. Cheese Allen says Naylor or P. Smith, DKGVP. I think that's Pavin.
So the reason Pavin was the answer to the other one was the other half of the question. Those two are so close, and there's no correct answer. Like, honestly, I ever so slightly lean Pavin, but there's not a correct answer to that.
I'd say the only difference is probably a little bit of pitch hit risk for Pavin Smith. I think like Naylor plays no matter what.
Naylor definitely doesn't come out. Like Smith hits the ball a little more in the air, which is the thing I'm looking for in this matchup. Like I don't think there's a right answer to that.
And he's cheaper. Yeah.
Okay. Fred says, seriously, Cheese, does the wind matter for the Cubs today?
Barely. I essentially, if the only two answers are yes or no, the answer is no.
I disagree, but you're so much smarter than me. It's really hard for me to disagree. I think it makes home runs a little harder. I think it makes home runs harder to come by, but this is not a strong wind. It's 7 miles per hour.
So Weather Edge has about like a 34% drop in home runs, which is a lot. But it's not like a lot of these Wrigley wind games, you see 60%.
Yes.
It's comparing to Wrigley games.
And it has to pull from winds which are within, I think it's 4 miles per hour on each side. So a 7 mile per hour wind is also including games at 11 miles per hour, which matters. It's also including games with lower winds, but there's just not that many days where you have lower winds, right? It's not very common to see 4 mile per hour wind days. So I think there's more games at the higher end that it's pulling from, which then increases or decreases the home runs greater than what is really representative of that 7 or 8 mile per hour wind. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, 7 or 8 mile per hour, like there would be so few balls hit ever into that would be a home run without it and wouldn't be with it. Like maybe there's one ball hit that would have otherwise been a home run.
And I think that's why when it is a relatively light wind, you can still see some fairly significant impacts from Weather Edge because of the fact that there's a 4 mile per hour grace on either side. And there's none of those data points on the bottom end of that. Almost all of those data points are coming in at the top end, which shows a greater impact than what is probably happening. That's just something I always think about when I see low wind games on Weather Edge. Is your crib haunted? Producer Steve, Izzy would like to know if your crib is haunted. I will let you answer that.
No, not anymore. Not this one.
Not anymore is a great answer.
not the one I'm living in right now. No.
All right. I'm glad that you have moved out of the haunted one. That was not the answer I expected at all, but I liked it.
I was thinking real crib, like a baby's crib.
That'd be awful. Let's see, Kirk, Witt and Cruz or Lindor and Tucker. Witt would be my third Royal and DK Cash. It's Witt and Cruz. But maybe it's not. Kirkwood.
It is. It's Witt and Cruz.
Here we go. We're going to make it work for this one. Jerry says FanDuel Cash 2,700 in the outfield. Kirkdiese, what do you got?
2,700. And Dave will probably get something quicker.
Dave, you got something?
Outfield 27.
FanDuel.
I'm scrolling. Spencer Steer is sitting right there. Alec Burleson. It's not as good as other positions to go cheap. I would probably say Steer.
Okay, very good. Justin Tugger says Cheese. He wants to know if you can game stack Pitt and Cardinals, but we don't use the word game stack. We call it a double dip because that word offends Cheese.
Perfect for Tugger. He loves a double dip.
Cheese, can you double dip Pitt and the Cardinals?
Yeah, they're both in sort of the top tier of offenses. I generally prefer more just kind of picking out a few bats for the Pirates versus full stacking for the Cardinals. But yeah, you could double dip it.
Cheese Chili Chill says your favorite pitcher and stack for the last 2 late games on a FanDuel GPP after hours slate. I'm assuming you don't even know what the prices are.
I have no idea what the prices are. I mean, the team is definitely Arizona.
Yeah.
The pitcher for me would be Severino. I'm assuming he's cheaper than Bryce Miller. But I have not looked at it.
Okay. Let's see. Eric says, hey, Kirkwood, out of 150 lineups, how many White Sox stacks would you have?
I would definitely have a couple on this slate, but I would have more White Sox pitching with Shane Smith than that would be the angle I go. But Eric's going to play the worst team on the slate every always.
That's what he does.
But they do hit left-handed pitching a little bit better, and there's some question marks with Reagan. So let's say 5.
Yeah. Okay.
5 stacks.
Cheese, Pete Alonso or Naylor on DK?
Pete, if you can afford him.
Cheese, have you tried? Happy Cinco de Mayo. I didn't even realize it's Cinco de Mayo on some beers. I have so many Pacificos. I have a whole fridge full of Mexican beer, and I didn't. So
why do they not? They do not celebrate it in Mexico.
I don't know, man. It's a celebration of the Battle of Pueblo and the Mexican people gaining their independence, I think. But I don't know. I don't know why they don't celebrate it. It's just a here thing. We'll take a couple more questions, then we're going to get out of here because we're coming up on what was original lock.
We're coming up on Celtics time soon. Yeah.
We're coming up on Celtics time for Kirk. What does Kirky think of an A's full reach around stack from Blink 182, starting at 8, ending at 3?
Love a little reach around.
Yeah, double dip with 3 Mariners to take it all in a DK tournament.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, Cheese, you on board with that? Reach around with Mariner? Oh no, with A's and 3 Mariners.
I don't.
You don't like it, or you don't think about it?
I don't eat both. Okay. I hadn't thought about it, but now that I have, I don't really like it.
Okay, that's well said. Can you recap pitchers, Cheese? I'm struggling, and I'm not sure I'm happy with my Rodon and Myers in single entry.
Yeah, everyone's struggling because it's a really weird pitching slate. I would also not be happy with that in single entry. I don't like it. Rodon is fine if you want to pivot off of Reagan's. I don't trust Myers nearly enough with the pitch count to use him in single entry. Like, he's playable at that price for sure, but I wouldn't consider him in single entry. Kirk and I both prefer Ronald Blanco in that game. Although, again, if you need the salary, maybe Myers is fine. I'm not telling you can't play him. I'm just telling you I wouldn't play him. I would get up to Matthew Boyd if you can. If not, I would play Miller or Severino, and if you can't, then I would play Blanco.
Okay.
Totally fine with Rodon. Definitely Reagan's is the more optimal play, but the chalkier play. So Rodon is a fine pivot. I have no issue with that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take one more question, and then we're going to clear out, mostly because I have to pee. I've been chugging water. My throat is kind of sore, so I'm trying to hydrate it out. And I have to pee just incredibly badly. And it's almost locked. So Eric says, Kirk, Pivetta, Shane Smith in single entry.
Oh, Eric, you got to stop asking Eric questions. He does it just to try to needle us.
Sorry, I didn't even realize this time.
But I do like Shane Smith. I'm not high in Pivetta because of that price tag, but the Yankees will strike out. So yeah, I think there is upside there, and probably he'll be the only person with that combo.
Yeah. John says, "Is the show is stopping early because Roth has to go pot?" The show is no. We did the things. What time was lock originally at? It was 7:05, right?
We've passed it. Yeah,
we've passed lock. We did the things we came here to do. We answered the questions. We want your thumbs up. I really do have to pee though. So for Kirkwood, for Cheese, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys. We appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been